For this upload on Patina Garage, we're working on something just a little bit different. Probably not what you thought you were going to see on the channel anytime soon. We've got ourselves an import. A 1991 Toyota Cresta. We're going to go through the same process that we would for any other car. Check mechanicals, see how shiny we can make this thing. But this one's got something a little bit different under the hood. We'll get back to that a little bit later. 10 years off the road this has been. I wonder how much of a challenge it's going to be. It runs well, so let's get into it. Wait, what? A JDM import? Here, let me catch you up. So, you see that red Falcon up in the top right hand corner? Well, didn't quite work out. Firstly, we had this oil leak, then I hit a kangaroo, that busted the exhaust. But the biggest problem of all, I've got a family with kids. 2 seats, one being for the driver, only leaves one for a passenger. Bring in the family car. I also commute over 100 kilometres for work each day, so I was looking for a bit of a reliable runabout to fill that gap. Now that you know what we're on about, back to the Cresta. Toyota 2LTE. Fuel injected, turbo diesel, 2.4 litre variant. Unsurprisingly, the struts are buggered, so using a proper standard up. Timing belt's up. I'm going to rip through, time lapse what I can, and pull up if there's any details that you guys need to know. Alright, so for me, this is the kind of stuff that annoys the crap out of me. Home handyman stuff. Double nutted, flat blade screwdriver up the top, you can't actually get onto that. Double nutted below, corroded and rusted. Adds time, pain in the neck. Take a look at that. Pretty well plugged up, especially through the centre there. Core itself is good, but we'll give that a good blowout and move on with our lives. Just checking the viscous hub. It's not too free spinning or anything like that, so it's not too tight either, so that's good. Now, what I need to work out is just how much I need to take off and how easily that's going to happen. Whenever I'm removing pulleys or anything like that, if it's in a position, I'll try to mark it where it was. You never know if something's been balanced or anything like that, so just a bit of a habit I like to get into. Still in good nick. This is probably something you were seeing. That nut down in there, bolt, hidden behind this bracket. I'm guessing all this aircon assembly. You know, if you had a car that didn't have that, it'd be pretty easy going, but yeah, no good if you do. Well, that was horrid. Could just about guarantee that to get left. Could just about guarantee that one gets left off half the time. And I don't blame them. Well, that was stupid tight. I had to get the old 2.5 footer bar out. Choked the crank pulley, so that way when you're talking on it, it'd bind up on this strap and not be able to turn. That was really hard, ridiculously tight. Moving on. Oh my gosh, this aircon bracket is causing nothing but grief. To remove that, to get this pulley here out of the way, is big work. Toyota, that should not be that hard. That is going to be an absolute headache to get back on. But anyway, we're in. We are in. Okay, so that is why we're changing it. What's that make it? 17 years old. But if you look inside, which I'll show you in a sec, it's brand new. So it was done at 200,000 Ks, and it's currently got about 230 on it. So, you know, by looking in there, you've all but got to agree that that would be correct. You can see here where people have marked it in the past when they've done the belt. I'm going to do the old mark the belt, line it up with the new one, slide it on trick. I've got this Basco kit, ETK 1001 WDBE, timing belt, pulley and drive belt kits. So hopefully it's got everything in here that we need. How much of this I'm actually going to replace, I don't know. All the pulleys and that in there are all but new, so I don't think there's much gain to have replacing them. So I might just give them a bit of a spin, see how they feel and go from there. Water pump, it definitely will be happening. Metal impeller on that too, that's always good to see. Not quite sure how I feel about the plastic style ones these days. Just going to check that this is the correct length before I get too much more into this. So there's probably a few ways that you can do a timing belt. I'm an idiot and don't really know any of the proper ways, so I've only ever done one other in the past, and what I did was exactly this. So marked the belt on multiple pulleys. And on this one here, I've also got the keyway, vertical, so straight up and down. That should be able to give me enough indication to not mess any of this up and get it all back the same. Alright, so what I've done is taped the two belts together, lining up all the ribs. As you can see, they match each other. Back one is the old belt, drawing a line across where that initial mark is, on that ridge just there. Done that, as you can see, taped around, same again, in all the locations that I've marked pulleys. Time to get this back in, put it all back together. Alright, so, time to line the dots. No! Alright, so as you can see, lined up, lined up, lined up, and lined up. So that should be all good. tensioner. The center is tight. There's a spring in here. Don't know whether you'll be able to see or not. That spring is in place. Just got a grab hook on the actual pulley. Then it runs back to this bracket here on the water pump. Just going to give it a couple turns now. I hate this. I really do. I don't know why I'm so tight and just don't get other people to do it for me that actually know what they're doing. But anyway, stupid is stupid does. Okie dokie, we're all back together. Fans on, balancer is on, all the belts are on. Got these top lines here together. The only thing I haven't done is the radiator and the fan shroud, but I just want to kick it over and see what happens. Praying I haven't messed anything up. This is the most nerve-wracking part of doing a timing belt. Like I said, I think previously, I've done one before. Approached this one here with the same method, so fingers crossed. Let's have a crank and see what happens. All right, God, this part's nerve-wracking. I have spun it over a couple of times, so I'm pretty confident that there's no kissing of valves onto cylinders or anything like that, but it's still scary. All right, far out. Here we go. All right, seems to be running how it was before. How pleasing is that? Oh. Oh, that's good. God dang, that's good. All right, we'll turn him off and start looking to get some water in it, I think. So before we go putting all this back together, actually I just want to blow out this aircon condenser, and I'll do the same with the radiator. Get any gunk out of there. I reckon there'll be heaps. Might just lock up some intakes and do some things before I get started on that. Got seeds stuck in your radiator that you can't blow out? No problem. Okie doke, so we're up and running. Just put some water in it, going to give it a flush through. Made this little reservoir setup. Used it before in another car. Instead of buying the kit, because just don't have it available to me where I am out here, so, but this works well, or well enough I should say. I wouldn't say it works well, but it does the job. As always, heater's on. Flush all this through. Pray to God there's no leaks. I beat the crap out of that radiator to get all the seed, or as much seed as I could out of it. See, it's all here on the ground and all over the bloody place. But anyway. Sounds like that little pulley down there might be chattering. I do have a spare. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Today's a new day, pretty successful one yesterday. So we completed the timing belt change, put all new belts on, put it back together, did a coolant flush before that, blew out all the seeds and that in the radiator, or got as many as we put out. These do not like getting hot, will damage heads, so it's something I'm going to keep an eye on. If it does become an issue, that'll be rectified in the future. Yeah, so flushed all the radiator, got it clean, coolant topped up, took it for a bit of a run, just to, you know, get all the juices flowing, get any air out of the system. We'll check that this morning to see if it's come down any less. Then we'll be moving on. We've got oil, filter, do a quick service today, then if we get time. Interior, don't think we'll get to the exterior. But I think, as I mentioned at the start of this one here, this is more about the transformation of a car and something that you guys could do, not the actual car itself. So this will be a great daily, which is why it was chosen, but it's the transformation that matters, and all stuff that you can do at home, pretty basic gear. I'm doing it here on a cement slab, just like a lot of you guys would be, or girls, depending on who's watching. Parked up on the cement overnight. Wanted to make sure there was no coolant leaks or anything, which there's not. Didn't want to park it on the dirt because you wouldn't really be able to see. Let's have a look at the coolant. I'm expecting to having to top it up a bit. That's not too bad. Put a dash in there. Another issue we had after yesterday's couple runs and heat up is the belts have got quite loose. So I'm going to have to get in and have a look at that and try and sort that out. The adjusters aren't the easiest spots on this, so just have to see how I go there. Could be fun. Alright, oil's done. First start since. You can hear those squealing belts I was talking about, so I think that might be the next job. Shut him off before it gets hot. Don't know how we can see this, but the idler tension pulley for the AC and fan, it is stripped. It's had a bit of a problem there for a while by the looks, so I'm just going to have to get another bolt. It can be a lot shorter, it can probably be like that. See what I've got in my spares compartment. Otherwise I'll be going to town to get one of these, so that'll sort out that one. The alternator, trying to work out how to actually get in there to tension that one. It's a bit tight to see. Well, there we go, got that done. No more slipping belts, that was an absolute headache. What it ended up being was incorrect belt size in the kit. And a little bit of adjustment. Oh, that was the incorrect belt was for the aircon, and the adjustment in the alternator. Well, the alternator was an absolute nightmare just to get in there, and because it's hard to get to, the bolt's been trashed in the past, so it was a proper headache. But anyway, there now. Let's clean the interior up. So as you can see, the interior is in pretty good condition. Just needs a nice clean and it'll be mint, so you're going to cop a time lapse of me cleaning this out. Not sure I've mentioned yet the level of grandpa that this car exudes from its being, but if we go to the boot, it can all be summed up. We've got the camphor, is it? Little pouches to keep the moths and the creepy crawlies out of the car. And we've got the plastic liner to protect the carpet from all the things that we'll see. Space saver wheel, not sure what the go is there. Japanese writing, so it might be a Japanese thing. Well, definitely a Japanese thing. But we do have a full-size spare there as well. It's not a mag, but it is a spare. All right, back to cleaning her up. Alright, I feel like it's time to go through and check the remaining fluids. So timing belt's done, we know we've got engine oil, we've replaced that, done the filter, coolant system is topped up. Power steering. Brakes. It's got a hydraulic clutch, so the master cylinder for the clutch. Windscreen washer. I'm going to guess it's empty. No, it's all but full. Keeping in mind this thing's been sitting for 10 years. The occasional startup, other than that, it's been in a shipping container, it's holding up well. So there we go, now we know all the fluids are good. So now that the mechanical maintenance and checks have been done, let's go through, tick off some of these items on the pre-start checklist or safety list to make sure we're hitting the ballpark. So body and chassis. Is it covered in rust? Is there any dents that could cause injury or harm or make it unsafe to be around? No, she's completely rust-free. Only very minor dents. All the body kit and everything is secure. There's nothing dangerous that's going to cause harm, make the vehicle unsafe. Steering and suspension. Does the vehicle settle when being rocked? Or is there undue body movement? Does it bounce? As you can see, or maybe not too well through the camera, it stops and sits well. Steering, excess play in the steering wheel. We'll take it for a test drive after and see how that goes, but I'm not sure if I can get both the wheel and the steering wheel and tyre in the thing that you can see. As soon as I'm applying any movement to the steering wheel, the front tyres are moving. So there's no undue play. Wheels and tyres fitted, are they the correct size for the vehicle? Do they have plenty of tread? All these tyres are the same. Are the date codes in right? Bit of conjecture around that. There's the 10, 7 and 5 years that gets discussed. Engine and drivetrain. We know it's got oil. We know it's got all the other fluids. We saw earlier that it doesn't leak any oil or fluids. There cannot be undue leaking. No one wants to be stuck in a situation where things are dribbling. Brake test. It's certainly got brakes. We'll go for a drive in a second, do a little test trip and see just how well they pull us up. Okie dokie. For clarity and disclosure, I am on private property, as you can see by the condition of the road. Let's just do a little road test, confirm how a couple of those things go. So steering. Handles pretty well. There's no excessive body roll, holds quite firm. Brakes, that's the next thing. How well does it brake? Pretty good. Considering we're on gravel, not expecting it to stop on a dime, but it pulls up, tyres locked up, no ABS. But they do what they should do. How that brake test goes under controlled conditions, that's yet to be determined. So as you can see, for driving, suitability and basic mechanical testing, everything is working as it should. All these things are good to do. Nice checks to complete before going in for a roadworthy, so that way you can try and repair what needs to be repaired prior to, saving the extra trip down. All but final mechanical check, emissions. Are we blowing any smoke? I can already tell you the answer is no. Full credit here to Karcher. Karcher, if you're watching, I'd love a steam cleaner. Or like a big wet and dry vac, that'd be awesome. But full credit to Karcher. I had my pressure washer play up at about 6 years and 6 months. It started to leak internally, and with absolutely no qualms or questions at all, they replaced it under the extended warranty, which I signed up for at the time. So if you've ever been on the fence about signing up for an extended warranty, don't be, just get into it. Saved me buying a new one. Didn't realise this was going to be flat pack though. Time to give this Cresta its first wash in my care, custody and control. Sun's not doing some things, which doesn't really help me. This all but looks like a cloud, but you can see the clear coat is peeling through this section here. There's similar spots on the other side as well. The other notable things to sort of see is this glaze, like oil slick. It's like it's been covered in oil or something at some point in time where it's been stored. So I'm going to give it a really good wash, a good deep clean. Try and get that out. Synthetic clay bar. Try and decontaminate that paint as well as we can before we give it a polish, and then that's what we'll really know what we're dealing with. It's got a lot of little surface scratches and stuff like that on it, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see what's actually under this dust. Okay, clay barring. It's the first time I've ever done it. Certainly not an expert in detailing at all. I got this Bowden's 3-way as a lubricant. As you can see there, it says Clay Lube. Not sponsored by anyone. I buy what's cheapest at the time when I think I'm going to be using it. Got a synthetic clay bar. Traditionally, it's actually a really fine clay that you would use to rub around the paint to get rid of any to decontaminate the paint, removing iron particles or just little bits of junk that you want to take off before polishing to end up with a nice clean surface. And what it should do is, well, that's pretty smooth anyway, but it should give that slickness back before you polish. So anyway, got to have a lubricant down, synthetic clay bar. Let's get into it. Before you finish, you just got to wash it down with some water to not let this stuff soak in and cause any damage. So as I spray this on, any iron within the paint should start to turn purple. Let it sit for a period, then rub it off. So you can see down here, that's iron where it's turning purple. Iron deposits. Alright, so let's rinse and repeat. I'll just go through to the rest of the car now. Won't bother showing you guys. Wish me luck. Alright, we're on to the polishing. The final step for the paint and the prep and the shine for this car. So, pretty simple stuff. Got a Tool Pro DA, it's just a cheap one, nothing too expensive. Microfiber towel, and we're using the Meguiar's Ultimate Compound, which is a pretty common one that you can get from all your major retailers that the reviews say seem to do a pretty good job. The lighting in here is pretty ordinary, and I do apologise, but let's take a quick look around so you can see the difference between now pre-buffing or polishing with the DA. That's a dual action, so it doesn't just turn, it also oscillates, which is meant to limit the risk of scratches in the paint, and you can see that in the AU Falcon Ute video, which I've done earlier on. So let's just have a quick walk around. Again, the lighting's not the best, but I think you'll get the picture. It's you know, it's got some shine, but it's also dull. There's a few scratches in the paint. Not sure how well that's showing up here. Be interesting to see how well they pull out. Again, same with all these ones here where people have slid stuff off the boot. Had to put it in the shade here because it's just too hot in the sun. I think I did mention that. You can see this side here is quite dull. Probably caught most sun. But it does have some shine and luster to it. So I think it's going to come around pretty well. It's just how well we can deal with those scratches. Anyway, less yapping. Let's polish. More yapping. If this was a car that you really cared about, you'd be masking off the sections of rubber which are porous. This doesn't really have porous rubber. These side strips here, it's more of a harder plastic or a soft plastic hard rubber, so it's not porous, but let me show you what I'm talking about. Porous rubber. Disclaimer, I am no auto body expert, but this is a porous rubber. You can really sink your nail into it. That there will absorb the polish and leave white streaks, and it's pretty hard to get out once it's in there. So yeah, just a little disclaimer there. There we go, quick polish complete. I haven't seen it in the sun yet. Very keen to see how it's come up, I can tell you that. It's looking pretty good in the dark. Can only look better in the sun. No doubt I've missed a bit of polish as I've been rubbing it off, but anyway, we'll sort that out when we get out there. Let's do a sun reveal. Well, that has certainly brought out the shine that we were talking about back at the start. Certainly some spots could have buffed a bit better and polished off, but you can't complain about that. I wasn't going to do the roof, but I just gave it a light hit. Reason for not wanting to do the roof is all that damage. But just went over it very lightly, just to clean up anything that I could. Now for less than, I'm gonna say $200, including the tools and the products to do the job. If that's just your daily and you want to give it a spruce up, or your weekend warrior, that is cheap and effective. How good. Okay, so now that we're cleaned up and shiny, we've got the rest of the roadworthy checks to complete. First up, seats and restraints. So what we're looking for here, seats are in good condition, no tears, obvious signs of poor degradation or anything, and seat belts aren't frayed, in good condition, and work, which they do. So now we're moving on to lights and electrics. Do they all work as they should? Is there any issues? Indicators working, front and rear. Do we have brake lights? Reverse. Hazards. Is there any faults on the dash when the car is running? Do your windscreen wipers work as they should? Does your windscreen demister work? Yes, it does. Is your glass in good condition? No big cracks or chips, especially in front of the driver's view. Side windows, clear from scratches. No flaking or peeling tint, all in good condition. Cracks in the windscreen, quite subjective. Some people will let them go with a small crack or a chip, others will not. That'll be up to whoever you get to do your roadworthy. The remaining ones, well, we've got safety features. Doesn't really apply to this one, not much for it. Probably got pre-tensioning seat belts perhaps, or the ones that just pull tight. ID of the vehicle, does the VIN match what it should be? Has the engine been swapped? Has it been updated? Modifications, has it got a turbo? Has it been lowered? Has it got a too loud of an exhaust? Things like that. And finally, a road test. Does it drive like it should? Is it a car in good condition? Is it safe for the road? Now, all of these road test checks that I was talking about, very subjective compared to the people that you're getting to do the actual roadworthy. And these are all general in nature in what I've described. Certainly not the Bible. Seek advice from your mechanic and adhere to what they say. So there we have it. Passed its inspection. The only thing left to do is pull out that wattle tree and put the plates on it. Thanks for watching. Hope this is helpful. And if we can get at least one of you who have managed to watch it all the way through, or even part thereof, out into the shed, working on or fixing up that car you've had sitting for a while, I've achieved my goal.